My people, let's go straight into this gist, because what is happening right now between Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Barrister Maxwell, and the Tinubu government is something that has shaken the whole political space. So make sure you like this video right now and subscribe, because this story you are about to hear is deep and full of twists you need to understand very well. So, what's really going on? Barrister Maxwell, who happens to be one of Nnamdi Kanu's top legal representatives, is not taking things lightly anymore. According to reports and court happenings, he is threatening to take President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government to the International Criminal Court, yes, the ICC, over what he calls the unlawful detention and continuous refusal to release Nnamdi Kanu, despite several court rulings that, according to the defense, have ordered his release. Now, this is not a small matter, because for a lawyer to say he wants to drag a sitting president and government to an international court, it means he believes something serious is being violated. For those who may not fully understand, Nnamdi Kanu is the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, popularly known as IPOB. He has been in detention for quite some time now after being rearrested and brought back to Nigeria from another country under very controversial circumstances. Since then, his legal team has been battling in court, saying his arrest and detention were unlawful and that he should have been released long ago. The government, on the other hand, insists that Kanu still has questions to answer, especially concerning charges linked to national security and public order. Now, Barrister Maxwell's decision to take this matter to the ICC is generating a lot of reactions, both from Kanu's supporters and from ordinary Nigerians who are tired of the long back and forth. And as we are talking, you can already see different opinions everywhere. Some people are saying the lawyer is doing the right thing because it looks like Nigerian courts are not giving fair treatment in this case. Others believe that dragging Nigeria to the ICC is a waste of time, that it won't change anything. My people, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe right now if you're enjoying the gist. Let's continue. Now, for Barrister Maxwell to even mention the ICC means he is pointing fingers at the government for allegedly violating human rights. The ICC only handles serious cases, things like crimes against humanity or grave abuse of power. So, if the lawyer is serious about this, he will need to prove that Nnamdi Kanu's treatment falls under that category. That's not an easy thing to do, because international courts don't just pick cases anyhow. But it's still a bold move that has already started creating pressure on the government. People close to Kanu's legal team are saying that all local legal options have been exhausted, and that's why the next move is to seek international justice. But let's be honest, this will take a long process. ICC cases are not quick. Sometimes they take months or even years to be reviewed. So, even though this threat sounds strong, it might not lead to an immediate release for Kanu. However, it can bring more international attention to his case, and that alone can put pressure on the government to act. And speaking of pressure, this issue has already caused a lot of political tension. You know, since the start of Kanu's trial, there have been protests, strong statements, and even some regional leaders calling for dialogue and peace. Now, with this new move by Barrister Maxwell, the tension might rise again. There's fear that some supporters may misinterpret this development as a call to protest or react in a certain way, but the lawyer himself has been careful to keep everything within legal boundaries. He said clearly that they are following due process, that they believe in the law, and that they want justice through legal means, not through violence or confrontation. At this point, the question everybody is asking is, will the Tinubu government respond? Well, from what we have seen before, the government has always maintained that Kanu's case is a matter for the judiciary, not for the executive arm. That means they are not ready to interfere with what the court decides. But Kanu's camp believes that the government still has a big influence on what happens, and that's why they are now turning their eyes to international justice. What's your take on that? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because we are just getting deeper into this. Now, let's talk about how the ICC actually works, because some people might not understand. The International Criminal Court is in The Hague, and it deals with very serious offenses under international law. If a government is found guilty of violating human rights or ignoring international treaties, the court can take up the case, but it needs evidence, strong evidence. So Barrister Maxwell and his team will need to show that Kanu's rights have been violated beyond what Nigerian law can handle. They will also need to show that all efforts to get justice locally have failed. Only then can the ICC consider looking into it. Some experts have said that even if the case is filed, the ICC might not take immediate action because Nigeria is still considered a functioning democracy with working courts. That's one of the main challenges. The court usually intervenes when a country has completely broken down or when there's no sign of fair trial at all. But in this situation, it might take a lot of convincing before any real action is taken. Still, this whole talk of ICC has already sent a strong message. It shows that Kanu's team is not ready to back down, and it also reminds the government that the world is watching. And one thing about international attention is that it can sometimes change how a local issue is treated. When more foreign organizations start asking questions, governments tend to act more carefully. That might be the strategy here. Now, let's talk about how Nigerians are reacting. Some people online are already praising Barrister Maxwell for having the courage to take such a step. They say it's time someone stood up for justice, especially in a case that has lasted this long. But there are others who feel that this move might create more tension, especially if the ICC gets involved. Some even fear it could affect Nigeria's image internationally. So there's a lot of mixed reactions, and it shows how sensitive this matter is. You know, sometimes when these kinds of legal battles drag too long, it becomes not just a legal matter, but also a political one. People start reading meanings into every move, every statement, and every court ruling. That's why this ICC talk has caught so much attention. It feels like a new chapter in a story that many thought was already fading. And you can imagine, as we speak, there are meetings, consultations, and plenty of discussions going on behind closed doors on how to manage this issue before it grows bigger. If you are following this story from the beginning, you'll know that Kanu's case has passed through many judges and courts already. Some rulings favored him, some didn't. His lawyers keep saying that the courts are not fair, that there's bias, while the government insists that everything is being done by the law. It's been back and forth for years now, and with this new ICC angle, it might still continue unless there's a political decision or an agreement to end it once and for all. But one thing is clear. This case has already gone beyond one man. It's now about how Nigeria handles justice, how it treats dissenting voices, and how the government responds to human rights concerns. So, this story is not just about Kanu anymore. It's about the reputation of the entire system. And that's why so many people are watching closely to see what happens next. If you've been following so far, please like this video right now and subscribe to the channel because I always bring you balanced and clear analysis, not rumors, not noise, but facts you can understand. Now let's continue because we still have more to uncover. Some political analysts believe that Barrister Maxwell's ICC threat could also be a strategic move, not necessarily to win a case there, but to push the Nigerian government to act faster locally. You know, sometimes when international pressure comes in, things start to move. Governments don't like being embarrassed globally, especially when human rights organizations start making noise. So this may just be a way of saying, if you won't listen to us here, we'll take it to a higher level. On the other side, some legal experts have cautioned that taking this matter to ICC could make things more complicated. They say it might stretch the process longer and could even make the government more defensive. So it's like a double-edged sword. It can either help or delay justice further. But no matter what, the fact remains that the world is paying attention again to this case, and that alone has revived the conversation about fairness and the rule of law in Nigeria. Now, the next thing to watch is whether Barrister Maxwell will actually file this case formally or if it's still at the level of a public statement. If he does, we will see how the government responds and how the international community reacts too. Because once something like this enters ICC records, it gets noticed globally. You'll start hearing statements from rights groups, from foreign diplomats, and from other legal bodies. That's how these things grow. My people, the gist is sweet but also serious, because it touches both politics and human rights. If you think about it deeply, this shows how much distrust still exists between citizens and government institutions. People no longer believe that local courts can deliver justice. That's why they start looking abroad. That's not a good image for any country. But maybe, just maybe, this kind of bold step will push everyone to act right, both the government and the judiciary. So, as we wait to see how this unfolds, one thing we can all agree on is that this story is far from over. Every week there's a new twist, a new statement, and new drama. We'll keep following it closely and bring you updates as soon as they drop. Don't forget to drop your thoughts below. Do you think dragging Tinubu's government to ICC will change anything, or is it just another round of talk? Let's hear your opinion. And please, if you've enjoyed this gist so far, like this video and subscribe right now so you don't miss the next update, because this one is just the beginning.
And if you get justice for Nnamdi and Simon Ekpa, international community may come in. ICC may give warrant order to arrest some Nigerian government officials. To arrest some Nigerian government officials.
I was so angry.
Now, you see, I be Sakpara the new Okoko them. I think Nigerian cop is getting to fool. Nigerian cop against Biafra, against Nnamdi, against truth, against human rights all over Nigeria, against killing in Nigeria, is getting getting to full. And the meeting is full, it will be overflowing. And if it's overflowing, somebody need to drink it. So I'm praying that Tinubu should do the needful, so that he and his government will not drink this cup of iniquity that is trying to overflow. Hello? Now, if Maxwell, as he said, if they will not pick him up and put him in a cooler, as they put Aloy Ejimakor in a cooler now, and he moved to ICC and lay complaint, that the body don't get double wahala for Nigeria. Because already Nigeria now, international community are looking Nigerian eyes as a genocide nation that the killing Christians, want to exterminate Christian population, want to turn Nigeria to Islamic nation. There's no freedom of speech, no freedom of religion, although in paper and theory, they will tell you freedom of speech, freedom of religion. We are a secular nation. We are not one religion nation. But coming to practice, and indeed, we are getting to one religion, which is Islam, one political party system, which is APC. Freedom of justice, freedom of speech. You cannot protest. If you protest, they tear gas you and handcuff you to jail. So just the a whole lawyer, they dump you to jail.
Is it what the Abacha government? Is it similar to a lot of people say this is Abacha's government part 2?
And Abacha government was far better than this APC government. From 2015 up to today, Abacha government is far better. You know that Abacha is a military man. You know that the military are ruling by decree, not by constitution. You understand? But this one, you say you are a democratic elected government or leadership or president, and you are not acting like a Democrat. You are not ruling by law or order. You are not ruling by law. No constitutional right. Apply your governance. Starting from Buhari to Tinubu. Now tell me what is different between military and the civilian. The only civilian put on an abada. A civilian are committing crime more than military. Their human rights abuse more than military. Their corruption, embezzlement more than military. Then you are asking me, is Abacha regime more than this? And this Abacha regime, I personally I work freely. Abacha regime, Abacha meets $1 to 18 naira for good 5 years. Abacha rule, $1 was still 18 naira. We have food insufficiency. If it's Abacha regime, can Boko Haram, bloody husband, rampage with gun, killing people, bandit in Nigeria, Abacha will give only 24 hours. Only 24 hours, and government will fetch out of Nigeria. Flush out of Nigeria completely. Abacha cannot accept this type of killing going in Nigeria today. No. Can happen. And why is it Abacha is bad? Abacha governance, they call it bad governance. They call it bad regime because you don't allow them to operate on corruption. Abacha time, go and do scam. All the whole 419 in Abacha time, he silent them. All the 419 in Abacha time, he silent them. Go and try it. Now, Abacha regime, our economy is suitable. Abacha pay debt. For 5 years, Abacha did not borrow money from any country. For 5 years, he ruled. He don't borrow money for any country. The masses, poor people are moving freely. The only thing is those people that are headed for Nigeria, that are still putting Nigeria where they are today. Abacha silent, they didn't allow them to talk. He did not allow them to talk. Even Mr. Tinubu himself was against Abacha. All the politicians that they were against Abacha regime. Because Abacha did not give them gap. Now they enter. And the thing they accuse Abacha, they are doing now more than Abacha. Look at killing of individual, common masses, farmers, raping. Does it happen in Abacha regime? No matter how tyrant Abacha boys are, do they rape anybody? Do they go to villages killing people? Go to farmland killing people? Eh? How many city? How many community Abacha regime or Abacha order army to go and bomb them? How many regime, communities or towns or tribe Abacha order finish them up? Tell me that one. But what is happening from in this civilian regime? From 1999, civilian takeover. Tell me what is happening. Tell me what is happening. Odi massacre, civilian regime. Okoma massacre, civilian regime. Friday herdsmen, civilian regime. Herdsmen, civilian regime. Boko Haram, civilian regime. Operation Patton Dance, civilian regime. CKC Abakilin, civilian regime. Do you happen in Abacha regime? Don't you know that military somehow are more considerable? They call them military. And the same what is going on now was what was going on before the first revolution take place in Nigeria. The same civilian misruling brought military to come in Nigeria for the first time. Now civilians have started again. They want to lead us again to another anarchy. I'm not talking of only Tinubu regime. All those civilian regime, they want us not to anarchy. When anarchy, when it started now, we common people start killing ourselves. You are Yoruba, you are Hausa, you are Igbo, you are Dube, you are TV. We kill ourselves. They carry their children, everybody run away. When we kill ourselves, they come back and they start to rule us. All those people that cause mayhem in First Republic that made military to come in, are they not the people who came in Second Republic? Again, Second Republic. Yeah, this one say I am NPN. This one say that I am NPP. This one say I am UPN. Are they not the same old politician that caused the problem? Return back again. This is how it will be in this place. So I think Abacha regime is far better. Far better. Even watch Buhari that causing mayhem brought the Nigeria into where we are. When Buhari was military administration, Buhari Diagbo, military administration, do we see corruption like this? Although Buhari, I know that time, I don't know that the same Buhari that came in now, that came in in 2015. Because Buhari of that time, I know is very handsome Buhari and the young, but the Buhari I know the time came here. I don't think that is the same Buhari that came in 2017. And if you watch that time, Buhari is the regime, no nonsense regime. The fact corruption stand still. But when he enters a civilian, what happens? Corruption grow up. To show you that sometimes men in khaki, I'm not saying military should take over. I'm not saying military should come back. Because now we are in dispensation of democracy. In dispensation of democracy. But if you watch, sometimes we have good men in khaki. Like Torere is a good man in khaki. Torere of Burkina Faso is a good man in khaki. This man from Niger, from Chad, they are young favorite men. They are in khaki and they are good.
Okay, but do you think that if Okpa actually takes the Tinubu government to ICC, do you think that they can win?
If you take government to Nigeria, if you take ICC, take the government of Buhari, Tinubu to ICC, I think it will have very, very good impact because already Nnamdi Kanu case has become international case, not internal case anymore. Let us say the truth. Not internal case anymore. It has become international case because they went to Kenya and kidnapped him. It become international. Although British, those hypocrite nation that said Nnamdi Kanu is their citizen, they are like Finland. Your citizen were kidnapped. You did not do anything. You stay silent, watching. Rather, underground, kindling fire against your citizen. Because Nnamdi Kanu is a black man. Someone is a black man. How can they come and open the black man's eyes for them to see road? This is what the problem Nnamdi Kanu and Sam Arepa have in the citizenship of this so-called white men. You understand? So, with the record of Nnamdi Kanu, is being international, and the Nigerian record as fourth terrorist nation in the world, and the first #1 nation who was against Christianity, killing people here and there, and the insecurity already on the ground. Maxwell Alaba may make impact in ICC. Yes, he may make impact in ICC. And if he make impact in ICC, he come to his own favor, he may get justice. He may get justice for Nnamdi Kanu and the Sam Arepa. And if he get justice for Nnamdi Kanu and Sam Arepa, international community may come in. Even ICC may give warrant order to arrest some Nigerian government officials. To arrest some Nigerian government officials, they may give warrant. And then if they give warrant to arrest some Nigerian government officials, Interpol will come in. And when Interpol will come in, anything can happen. Anything can happen. If ICC can give order to arrest Putin of Russia, they can give order to arrest anybody. Former president of former head of state or president of Sudan, who is currently serving death sentence in Sudan. ICC give order to arrest him. Interpol was working on him. Even when there was a summit he went to South Africa, they want to pick him up there. It's the grace of God that made him to escape. So anything can happen. Anything can happen. If Maxwell were able to present the case and free and fair hearing give to him, he may succeed. And if he succeed, I mean, it will be a shake-up in Nigerian government. Really shake up in Nigerian government. It can shake them. Really shake up.
The government is actually succeeding in making him a hero. And a number of people have said that they might not necessarily agree with all that he stands for, but by denying him access to justice, they are actually making him a hero. And a lot of people who stand against unfairness and injustice are coming out to speak against it. The second is that Nigeria has lost too much as a result of his consistent incarceration and the lack of respect of this government of the rule of law. I say this because we have lost so much money with the sit-at-home order every Monday in the southeast, which could have been averted, because the same the same treatment given to bandits and terrorists in the north who actually committed crimes, who actually killed people, whereby they granted them amnesty and they are negotiating with them, and someone who is allegedly a terrorist is starkly different. And this is the selective justice that Nigerians are crying out for. What I want to just say as a sound of warning is that let us not let this thing get out of hand. We've seen the day of protest. It means that the people are not backing down. There's only as much as you can push people back against the wall, but let the government do right and obey court orders with regards to Nnamdi Kanu. This cry has gone on for too long. Now let's move on to what happened yesterday at the toll gate. I said earlier, when we were speaking privately, about the fact that I believe that the police is actually misunderstanding their role in society in terms of protecting lives and property, because it feels as if their brief is to protect the lives and property of a few, or the government as it were. So it's now the police and the government against the people, whereas the duties are set out in the Constitution means protection of lives and property of Nigerians. But what we see is that there's this antagonism against the people of Nigeria, especially when there's peaceful protests. What could one woman have done that about 3 or 4 man-o-war operatives came to okay, 2 of them accosted her? Then she said that whilst they were doing this, 4 armed policemen approached her, and then 2 of them were asked to escort her and the lady that was taking the picture off the grounds. We can see the video there. And the highlight of this is that what one of them said to her, a female policewoman who was there, according to what she said, is that they said, "Are you not enjoying the peace as you have it now?" And then you ask the question, what kind of peace are we talking about?
Peace of the graveyard.
Peace of the graveyard, where peace means that the people are silenced and we are like robots according to what the government says, and you deprive the people of their constitutional guaranteed right to peaceful protest. Is that the peace that Nigeria or this administration wants, where the people's voices are silenced? That's not the peace that we are looking for. And so when they keep saying, oh, let's keep peaceful, what is the definition of peace? She had a right to go there to lay wreath. She was not even protesting peacefully, because she said a number of people that were called to come out to protest were afraid. This is what we have done to the Nigerian youths. We have caused them to be afraid, to stay back, and gradually silencing their voices. Is this the legacy of this administration? This Democrat that has been praised for his play and his role in the democracy that we enjoy today, now depriving young people today of the same rights that he enjoyed. And I'm talking about the Tinubu administration now. So I just want to say that, number one, the police has to rethink its strategy in how it manages its affairs with civilians, civilians as well, how it manages its affairs, and the right to peaceful protest. Then this thing around, once you see people gather, they are jittery. Why? Yeah. As long as they are not violent, no need to use tear gas, no need to fire bullets, even though the police spokesman came out to say that, oh, they didn't fire, but we heard the gunshots. Yeah. And so what we are asking for is that let the police do right. We've asked for police reform, let there be an actual reform, and let the people feel protected by the police, and not as if the police is taking sides with the government against the Nigerian people.
Well said, Ayo.